So VPNs, you've seen the ads everywhere. For honestly a while, it seemed like every other YouTuber was sponsored by one VPN or another. However, what do VPNs really do? Well, it's a bit more nuanced than they protect you from online threats. You see, VPNs add to your online protections by sitting between you and the websites that you visit. It also gives you more privacy against your ISP because all they see is you connecting to the VPN. They don't get to see the website that you visit, only the VPN does. And for those of you who are internet privacy nerds like me, you probably just realized that while your ISP doesn't see all the websites that you're visiting, the VPN is getting all of that data. They can see where anyone who uses their service is going online. Now, most popular VPN companies today don't want anything to do with this data and actually try to get rid of it as fast as possible. Not only does this protect you, the consumer, it also protects the VPN company. Now, it is worth mentioning that free VPNs aren't as trustworthy. That is why I don't recommend using any VPN, whether it's free or paid, if they don't tell you exactly what they're doing with your data. And in a lot of cases, you also should make sure it's being reviewed by a third party. It's really easy to claim what you're doing with people's data, but if no one from a third party is reviewing it, how do you really know? Now, hiding your browsing history from your ISP isn't the only thing that a VPN is good for. It also allows you to use public networks a lot more safely. This is because, just like your ISP, anyone on a public network just sees you connecting to the VPN. They have no clue, they have no way of seeing where the VPN is going after you connect to it. So they see you connecting to the VPN and then don't know what happens after that. VPNs also allow you to browse the web more anonymously. Your IP address is your online identifier, and with that, it can be tracked back to you. The most basic way to hide your IP address online is using a VPN, and in that case, the only people that see your IP address is the VPN company that you're connecting to and your ISP, because they're the one issuing the IP address in the first place. The websites you're visiting, though, don't see your IP address at all. All they see is the IP address that the VPN has, which is probably some server in some server farm somewhere and is being used by hundreds of different people, meaning it makes you more anonymous when you're browsing online. Now, just like with your browsing history, it's very important that you make sure that your VPN provider gets rid of your IP address information as quickly as possible. That is because they could technically link up your IP address and what server you connected to, and link that to what websites were visited through that server while you were connected. Sure, these might not all be for you, but it is in theory, possible to do that. Luckily, VPNs that don't log where you've been online, your browsing history, usually don't log your IP address either. That means it's nearly impossible to track where you went through the VPN because not only are they removing the fact you ever connected to the server as quickly as possible, they're also removing where you went on the browsing history side as quickly as possible, and that combo means it's kind of impossible to track. What about Netflix though? For some reason, you can't mention VPNs without mentioning Netflix and other streaming services that block and change the content that you see on them depending on where you are at in the world and where you're accessing them from. For example, Netflix in the UK is completely different from Netflix in the US. This is due to licensing agreements, but what if you want to watch something that's on Netflix in the UK from the United States? Well, using a VPN, you can change where your IP address is located. For example, you could change to a server that's in the UK, and with that, you can connect to services like Netflix like you are in the UK, even though you're not. VPNs make this super easy, usually with the GUI allowing you to select which country that you want, and good VPNs will even try to make sure their IP addresses aren't blocked by Netflix. Lastly, VPNs can allow you to get around your ISP buffering your connection. You see, during peak hours, it's not uncommon for ISPs as well as mobile phone providers to limit the amount of bandwidth that you can access via your device. This can cause random lag and buffering during peak hours of the day when everyone's at home using the internet. VPNs force your ISP to treat every connection like new traffic, like it's someone that's never connected before, and with that, it allows you to get around all of the different buffering. What are some other quick use cases for VPNs though? To name a few, they can help you circumvent IP bans in online games. They can also help you get better deals on things like flights because you can connect as if you're from a different part of the world. VPNs are also a great addition to your online privacy suite. What they aren't, though, is the be-all, all-in-one stop for your online privacy that many of them claim to be. So, do you need a VPN? Yes and no. It really depends on your use case. If you're using public Wi-Fi networks a lot, you 100% need a VPN, especially when you're on those public Wi-Fi networks. However, if you never travel, you're only using trusted Wi-Fi networks, and you have no use case that we've mentioned here, for example, your ISP doesn't randomly buffer your connection, well, in that case, you might not need a VPN. With that being said, though, did we get a VPN sponsor for this video? Of course we did, and it's actually the VPN that I've used every single day for years. NordVPN. At Nord, they log absolutely none of your data. They strive to be great for things like streaming Netflix, and they have proven through years and years of use by myself and many others that speed isn't a problem. You can check them out at the first link in the description down below, and while you're at it, maybe check out this video. It's one that YouTube thinks you'll like. Let's go see if they're right.